All right, here we are.
Hello, hi.
Oh,
Isn't this amazing?
oh, it's
Lovely
fabulous
to
of you.
see you. Thank you so much for supporting us on our TAE extravaganza. But I don't really need to tell you about TAE, do I?
You
Because you know all
absolutely
about
do
it.
not. I do. I do. In fact, I was trying to remember the kind of origins of my connection to this really special event. And you are my connection to this special event. So it feels really good to be here with you today.
Come full
Um,
circle.
exactly. So can tell me how this whole thing
Remind me
started.
how this happened. Well,
Yeah.
I'm a bit hazy about it. I saw the TAE thing somehow on my Twitter thing,
Mhm.
and I saw it was in New York City, and then I was looking for a subject, which I always do. I'm always like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then, and
Oh, this reminds me. I remember when I was out I was in the UK for the Encephalitis Society, and you were showing me images that you had done of pets. I remember
uh,
one specific dog that was exceptional, and I thought, oh my gosh, you have to do my dog, who's
lovely
actually right here
Gus.
right now. Gus, come
I'm
here.
sure I saw walking in the background. Then is that him there? Look,
Oh.
look at Gus. Isn't he? Oh,
So I remember I showed you a picture of Gus, and you're
yes,
like,
and I think then I thought, oh well, I'll do the picture of Gus. But then I think what happened was the thing we hadn't quite thought, we got all excited about doing it, was you realize it would go into an exhibition and it could be generally bought by
yes.
anyone else. And so what I remember that when you discovered that, you were like, what? You mean somebody else could buy my picture of Gus? And you
But it's
were
my
away.
picture. I was out of town, I think. So, by the way, I will show you the picture that we have here. I have right here
Oh, there
framed.
it is.
Gus's beautiful nose, as you can, beautiful pink nose there. The best. I mean, I just can't overestimate how much this picture means to me and how perfectly encapsulates who Gus is, his personality. It's just beautiful. So the fact that the idea that someone else would get their hands on my picture, no.
No.
So I called my husband, and we at the time we were living in Brooklyn, and I basically was like, "You need to get your butt to this exhibition ASAP." So he ran there, and I think he like fought someone off.
Now I remember that he got there early because you had said, "Don't come home with."
Yeah, we need this picture, and he did it. So
So he was
we
like
now in
first
hand.
through the door and he
Yeah.
grabbed it and you can and took it off the wall. It was gone. So literally no one else in New York City saw us.
I'm so sorry. But now it hangs in a very special place, like right when you first walk in the door in our house. It's like
Really
it's the
good.
thing it's
So
one of
good.
my most prized possessions. So it's
I'm
very
very
special to
pleased.
me.
Well, thank you for supporting us. You know, one thing I always think of when I think of drawing, I know that you're not particularly an artist, you've said, but
No.
in your very brilliant and fabulous book, Brain on Fire, the thing that always stays with me is this wonderful image of the clock that Dr. Najam had you draw, which was really the beginning, wasn't it?
It
So
was,
of
yeah.
that was the beginning of the diagnosis, wasn't it?
Mhm. Exactly. So I actually recreated the clock in kind of in honor of this. And I can't, I mean, you can see it, I think,
Yes,
here.
yes,
See, it's a one-sided clock, and it would have been on the other side because of the image, obviously flips it
right,
over.
right.
But so basically, at that point, when I was hospitalized, this was back, gosh, it's going to be 10 years, a 10-year anniversary of the book in November. Yeah, which is just wild to think about. But this was actually, I think, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I was really decompensating and doing very badly, and all the tests were coming back negative. I mean, every single kind of panel you could imagine. And this new doctor who you mentioned, Dr. Najjar, came on the scene, and he spent a real kind of a quality time in my room talking to my parents, talking to me. I couldn't really communicate at that point. So I was barely able to kind of swallow liquids on my own. I was barely talking, hardly verbal. And he asked me to draw a clock. And he had said, this is all in recollection because I don't remember any of this, but he said it took me a while to draw even the circle. And then it took me an even longer time to draw the numbers. And I would kind of get stuck on each number as I wrote them. And then eventually, as you saw on the clock, I'll show you again here.
Mhm.
I drew it all on one side of the clock, which was Dr. Najjar. Really, I mean, his jaw almost fell on the floor. And my parents were obviously disturbed by this one-sided clock and didn't know what it meant at the time. And that was when he uttered the words, her brain is on fire. That's when he got this kind of insight. Yeah, her brain is on fire, which is the title of my book. But through this like very easy, very cheap way of testing, he was able to see that the right side of my brain, which is responsible for the left field of vision, was impaired in some ways, and he thought it was caused by inflammation. He was correct. What's amazing about the clock, in terms of what you're interested in and what we're interested in this exhibition, is the way in which our kind of brain sees reality and views reality, and how impairment can change the way we see the world, and sometimes in negative ways, like this one-sided clock. That's not the way you'd want to navigate the world. No. But I've heard some incredible stories of people who've had brain illnesses and found the kind of creative spark, or found this kind of nascent talent within themselves. There was one man named Robert who discovered during his recovery that he's just like this incredible artist. So it's amazing, kind of the secrets of the brain. And sometimes even when we have damage to the brain, sometimes we can find something kind of unique about ourselves, even in that damage, which is pretty amazing.
How the brain finds its way around the problem as well, isn't it? I think, I think we were talking earlier, you've seen the, on some of the artwork, I know you've seen, we'll get to that in a second, but a lot of them have, we have quite a few people who have done pieces of artwork about their recovery, or about the brain, because we've have people with acquired brain injury, or people who have other brain issues, or sort of mental health issues, who have submitted stuff. And it's so interesting to see how art has become so therapeutic for them, and it's been such a sort of either cathartic, or it's been something that is quite a sort of focusing and relaxing thing. And I find art quite stressful, because
really interesting.
Well, I like doing it, but I find it quite stressful until
perfectionism, a kind of a
no, just because a part of me is thinking, oh, have I done this right? Does it look like that? I don't know why I put myself through it, actually. I don't know. But then the result, if it works out, and I love the fact that you love the picture of Gus so much, so, but one thing that's been brilliant about this exhibition is that to see these hundreds of pieces of art that are all so different and astonishing. You've been looking at some of them, haven't you?
Some of them are, absolutely striking. And what you can tell is there's a wide range. There are people who clearly are very trained, and some of those are just exceptional quality. And then there are some that seem a little bit more like, more amateur in that sense, which are shockingly beautiful. So I would just like the wide range of subject matter and kind of training shows this kind of brilliant spectrum and kaleidoscope of art that I felt was really exciting. And
it shows that everybody is an artist, is how I look. We've tried to do a very all-inclusive thing. So I've really pushed for anybody who fancies having a go to do it. I want anybody who wants to be exhibited to give us, to donate something, because to me, it's part of the awareness as well about the brain injury and about encephalitis, and getting that all out there, really. That's the main thing for us. It's been extraordinary, the number of people who've now heard of, we did a thing here recently that showed that only 77% of people who were asked had ever heard of encephalitis. And the majority of the people who have heard of it because their lives have been touched by it. And that's a terrible statistic, and we're changing that, hopefully. But, and we're providing beautiful art for people, which I'm hoping you've got your eye on something.
Oh, I have my eye on actually about 3 or 4. So I am
coming to Old York from New York to buy them in person?
I wish every fiber of my being that I could be there, but I'm not going to be there. But is there another way?
Spirit, you'll be there, won't you?
I'll be there in spirit, absolutely. Yes, but I also might be there in other ways. Let's see. Is there another way?
Yes, on the weekend, people will buy things, so you may miss out. But then it goes on the following Wednesday, on the 29th of June, it goes online. So then Gus is having a big shake in the background.
I know. Do I do that again?
And on the 29th, you can get right on that and buy. So, on
the 29th, June 29th, I can get on.
I'll send you the details.
Can I send my husband out there? I think you
yes. Nothing to come out.
Can I send you as my emissary to set aside
Well,
one?
I mean, I could be your proxy buyer, but there's no favoritism, I'm afraid. I've not allowed anyone near the exhibit, and then nobody's allowed until the ribbon's cut. We're actually cutting a ribbon, camp, and with gold scissors and everything. And once the ribbon's cut, then everyone goes through. It's a free-for-all, but nobody's allowed in beforehand. There's no favoritism, I'm afraid. Even for you, even though I adore you more than my luggage, honey, I'm still not going to.
I'm fine. I'll play by the rules, but I will be there on June 29th making my.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to speak to you, and thank you for everything.
Thank you for everything.
We'll speak again soon about stuff, but I'll let you know how it all goes.
Please do.
All right, darling. Take care of yourself, won't you?
Mwah. And Gus gives you a kiss too.
Oh, good. I don't know how to stop recording this now. Oh, gosh. Stay with me because I need to work out how to do this. Oh, God, what have I done?
I feel like, I think, where'd you go? In the bottom?
No, am I still here or no?
Yeah, you're still here. I think it's the bottom. If you put your, go to the bottom.
Happening here. So, pause, stop recording.